Aspiring data engineers who want to demonstrate their skills in designing and implementing data processing solutions on Microsoft Azure can take the DP-203 Data Engineering on Microsoft Azure exam. Share some updated Microsoft DP-203 exam questions here. 1. You have an Azure data solution that contains an enterprise data warehouse in Azure Synapse Analytics named DW1. Several users execute ad hoc queries to DW1 concurrently. You regularly perform automated data loads to DW1. You need to ensure that the automated data loads have enough memory available to complete quickly and successfully when the ad hoc queries run. What should you do? A. Distribute the large fact tables in DW1 before performing the automated data loads. B. Assign a smaller resource class to the automated data load queries. C. Assign a larger resource class to the automated data load queries. D. Create sampled statistics for every column in each table of DW1. 2. You are monitoring an Azure Stream Analytics job. The backlogged input events count has been 20 for the last hour. You need to reduce the backlogged input events count. What should you do? A. Drop late arriving events from the job. B. Add an Azure storage account to the job. C. Increase the streaming units for the job. D. Stop the job. 3. You are designing an Azure Synapse solution that will provide a query interface for the data stored in an Azure storage account. The storage account is only accessible from a virtual network. You need to recommend an authentication mechanism to ensure that the solution can access the source data. What should you recommend? A. A managed identity. B. Anonymous public read access. C. A shared key. 4. You have two Azure Data Factory instances named ADF Dev and ADF Prod. ADF Dev connects to an Azure DevOps Git repository. You publish changes from the main branch of the Git repository to ADF Dev. You need to deploy the artifacts from ADF Dev to ADF Prod. What should you do first? A. From ADF Dev, modify the Git configuration. B. From ADF Dev, create a linked service. C. From Azure DevOps, create a release pipeline. D. From Azure DevOps, update the main branch. 5. You manage an enterprise data warehouse in Azure Synapse Analytics. Users report slow performance when they run commonly used queries. Users do not report performance changes for infrequently used queries. You need to monitor resource utilization to determine the source of the performance issues. Which metric should you monitor? A. Data I/O percentage. B. Local tempDB percentage. C. Cache used percentage. D. DWU percentage. 6. You have an Azure Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL pool named Pool1 and a database named DB1. DB1 contains a fact table named Table1. You need to identify the extent of the data skew in Table 1. What should you do in Synapse Studio? A. Connect to the built-in pool and run dbccpdw_showspace used. B. Connect to the built-in pool and run dbcc checkalloc. C. Connect to pool1 and query sys.dm_pdw_node_scacus. D. Connect to pool 1 and query sys.dm_ptw_nodes_db_partition_scacs. 7. You plan to create an Azure Data Factory pipeline that will include a mapping data flow. You have JSON data containing objects that have nested arrays. You need to transform the JSON formatted data into a tabular dataset. The dataset must have one toe for each item in the arrays. Which transformation method should you use in the mapping data flow? A. Unpivot, B. Flatten, C. New branch, D. Alter row. 8. You are designing a date dimension table in an Azure Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL pool. The date dimension table will be used by all the fact tables. Which distribution type should you recommend to minimize data movement? A. Hash, B. Replicate, C. Round robin. 9. You have an Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 account named ADLS2 that is protected by a virtual network. You are designing a SQL pool in Azure Synapse that will use ADLS2 as a source. What should you use to authenticate to ADLS2? A. A shared access signature, SAS, B. A managed identity, C. A shared key, D. An Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, user. 10. You are deploying a lake database by using an Azure Synapse database template. You need to add additional tables to the database. The solution must use the same grouping method as the template tables. Which grouping method should you use? A. Business area, B. Size, C. Facts and dimensions, D. Partition style.